Hi, my name is Joseph Alai. Welcome to my channel. Hopefully this microphone works well. You don't hear me swallowing, gulping like you did last time. I think Haley got most of those edits out. But nevertheless, thank you for being here. Thanks for being in my new digs temporarily until the closing on my house. Yes, I've manifested a house. So until that goes through, I'm here temporarily. I'm in New Jersey right now. That's where I am officially moving to. Super excited about that and the new changes taking place in the channel and the business. So I want to talk about these subconscious mind tapes. I've been talking about them on my Instagram a little bit. If you're not on my Instagram, you should probably go there. You've been missing a ton of content. Maybe not a ton, but you've been missing the content. So get on that as fast as you possibly can. Also, if you're not on the email list, again, you have been missing out on content. People have been asking, when are you going to make more videos? When are you going to release more content? Well, if you've been on my other social media platforms, you would have been seeing content. Anyway, subconscious mind tapes. I call them subconscious mind injection tapes. It is a methodology, system, technique that I accidentally discovered, and they have radically altered and changed the course of my life. Lately, they have been taking precedent. I've been on a new journey. There have been changes and pivots being made in my business. I've made some big changes. I have hired some people, some full-time. Just get ready for some awesome stuff. But in doing so, I have been on my game, on fire with this. And I want to talk about some of the how to make sure you're doing this the right way. But before I begin, before I forget to say this, it's been a while. Definitely hit the like button. It does something to the algorithm so that those who wouldn't normally be able to see me will. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. That way you can stay tuned and be in the know for my latest content, which there will be a lot of. I am serious, not kidding. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon if you want to be, getting this cutting edge stuff. Stuff's being released, apps are being released, platforms, all this cool stuff. Definitely subscribe. Go to my Instagram, get on my email list, all that stuff. But let's jump into this whole subconscious mind injection stuff. What I've been doing lately, and especially because topics have come up in my own life, is I've been working on scripts. Scripting meaning constructing imaginal scenes after the end. This is something that when I talk to coaching clients, people who have been doing this stuff for a long time, they're stuck. They say, finally, okay, let me talk to Joseph. Joseph knows. Then they talk to me. I hate having to be the one to say, you're doing it wrong. So a lot of the beginning of coaching calls is me tactfully constructing a sentence in my mind. How do I tell this person they've been doing it wrong for the last 2 years? Or how do I tell this person that the person that they're following is leading them down the wrong path? So especially when it's related to a person's deepest desires, how do I say, you've been imagining wrong? No wonder you haven't gotten this thing yet, right? You've not been imagining properly. You've not been constructing your scene properly. You've not been taking what it means to say, live in the end, and utilizing that properly. These are things that are critical and crucial, and it's very hurtful to know that people have been guided down the wrong path with this. So ask yourself, have you been imagining properly? Have you been constructing the proper scenes after the end? Me personally, I've been systematically and methodically testing manifestations since, 13, 14 years? Hundreds of thousands of tests, experiments, manifestations. I've tracked and logged my whole journey from the beginning with an obsessive mindset, right? A fervor of a man dying of thirst, running towards an oasis that he finds. That, for me, is how I looked at manifestation from the beginning. And so with that said, I've taken it seriously. I have really utilized, systematically, methodically tested and experimented everything that I have read, the hundreds of books, the dozens of authors, put all of that to the test and have systematically formulated stuff that works. And I experimented with it on myself. And then also those of you who have put it through the test over the past 5 years, hundreds of thousands of pieces of data have come in, and I've been able to formulate what works and what doesn't work. And so with this, utilizing that data, systematically putting it into what I'm going to give you right now, which is in essence, masterfully constructing imaginal scenes and listening to them. And in this way is something that I haven't talked about before. You won't hear this anywhere else. Again, this is all formulated through experimentation, right? I haven't read this somewhere. I haven't heard this somewhere. This is all cutting edge stuff. I mean, manifestation has been around since the dawn of thought, but nevertheless, implementing it in this way is not something that you will read anywhere else, except you'll hear it right here. Constructing a scene after the end, right? People will say, live in the end. Always think from the end. Always revert back to the end. Really, what you need to do is think of what you want. Once you think of what do you want to be married? You want money? You want to be successful? Lately, for me, it's my thought process have been on relationships and business. And so more so, we'll talk about constructing after the end scenes. With business is what you want. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, if you want to make money, you think what would be a symbol of your success? You have an X amount of money in the bank, that you churn out businesses like it's nothing, that you, I don't know, whatever it is to you. The point of the whole thing is to think, if success can be defined in the term to you, what would it be? And then you take it a step forward, right? So say in my case, it would be to have an app reach critical mass, which means it hits a certain point where you no longer have to advertise. It grows on its own. So that is a symbol of success. And then that would essentially look like perhaps money coming in droves, in dump trucks, not literally, because we're talking a literal imaginal act. So perhaps that would mean seeing on Stripe or PayPal money continuously roll in to the point where I can have a conversation with my full-time employee and say, we haven't had to advertise or pay for a penny of advertisement. It is now growing on its own, and it has been netting tons of profit continuously. That is after the end, right? It's not, oh, we got our first sale, or, oh, I pushed out the app and it is successfully downloadable. No, it's the actual, you've hit that mark already long ago, and you're at a point where it's steadily and continuously bringing in droves of money. Or in the case of a significant other, right, a specific person, it's not the altar. It's not the I do. It's not the getting down on one knee. It's not the kiss. It's not the I love you. It's the cheering over the year celebration or the year anniversary. That is it. And then in this case, what you do is you construct a journal entry. Or in this case, what I did was I constructed a third person script and I had someone record it for me, not in my own voice. This was someone else's voice. And they were congratulating me on my success. They were explaining to me how successful I am, how easy success came to me. That was one way I did this. And then I basically described the symbols of success, the plaques of success, the Entrepreneur of the Year award, the whatever. That is after the end. That's one way to do this. Have someone narrate it, telling me who I am, congratulating me on my success. Or another way to do this would be to have someone, in essence, describe almost a scene, right? You're sitting in your chair. You look at your phone when it vibrates and lights up, and you see a large deposit of $150,000 enter into your bank account. And that is only your bi-weekly deposit, and you know that you've achieved success, or something to that effect. You narrate yourself, right? So either you can have someone tell you who you are, or you can have it be narrating a scene, or you can, in your own voice, write down what you are, who you are. I'm so grateful, right? I'm now thinking about how lucky I am to be married to this person. It's been a year. The relationship has been the best out of anything I could have ever imagined, right? Like this. And then what you do is you record that and you just listen to it. For me, again, accidentally, which is a lot of how I discover these techniques that I give you, I had it narrated through some app in a third person perspective. It was literally just to see if it sounded good is when I listened to it. And I was going to say to myself, I said to myself, okay, let me just make sure it sounds good. And then later I'll listen to it before I go to bed. So I listened to this thing a couple times. I kind of lost attention span. And then all of a sudden I got messages. This was the one related to a relationship, or related to relationships in general. And then all of a sudden I started getting messages from exes. And at first I didn't put two and two together until I realized that this secondhand listening to this tape automatically impressed my subconscious, and it automatically was manifesting without me even realizing it. So you don't have to do much. Just record this, write this script, record this thing, and listen to it. Yes, if you do it before bed, it can have a better chance of impressing. But in this case, it was midday. I was just walking around and it just played to make sure that it sounded good. And then boom, it impressed my subconscious. So whether it's a generalized statement of who you are, or it's some scene dictating some big end result, all you have to do is write it from the point of view of already having received it, record it, and listen to it. That is it. That's it. It's not rocket science. That will inject in your subconscious, like putting in a quarter, pulling a lever, boom, it's done. You don't have to worry about anything else. It impresses. It will execute for you. You don't have to look for it. You don't have to think about it again. It will impress and execute on its own. You don't have to live in the end 24/7. Just imagine it, or in this case, listen to it, and then let it go. Carry on, and then boom, it will manifest. I hope that was helpful. Definitely now I have released coaching again. Check out these packages. Also, I have something awesome coming. Get onto my email list. Be the first to experience this. It will be in very high demand with very short supply. You will see what I'm talking about. Get on the email list. You will see. If this was helpful to you, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and stay tuned for what's coming next. Get on my social media. There's things that I'm going to be sharing that you will not see here. Get on that. Get on the email list, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.